Everybody, I'm Stacy with Stacy's Is my hair okay? With Stacy's Organizing and Decorating for Life. I'm here to help you organize your thoughts and decorate your perspectives. So today our topic is going to be about the need to feel special. So if you like that that's our topic today, then please hit the like and subscribe button below. Before we get started, I want to thank all the people who have been faithful, loyal subscribers to me for the past 2 years, who've shared these videos continually, Joanne and others, who have just really shared, Stephanie, and I appreciate you, supporting this channel in that way, and encouraging me each and every day. But those of you who are new subscribers, I want to acknowledge a few of those too. I've gotten quite a bit of new subscribers, and I acknowledged a few people last week who shared videos. And this week I want to give special acknowledgement to Natalia's family. Ali Lee. Thank you for subscribing to me. And then there's somebody named John Doe 3. So as you know, all know I like the rhymes. So this was really well and in the right time. So I'm getting over this now. So we're going to go back to the need to feel special and get into the topic. But please don't forget to look at the disclaimer below. And if you feel this video helps, then please you share too. But thank you so much once again. It does make me feel special. But we're going to talk about the need to feel special. Many of us have problems with this. Like, maybe it's our job. Maybe we're just overperforming so that we can have that need to feel special. Maybe it's our relationship. Maybe we're just overperforming so we can have that need to feel special. Maybe it's, in the family, with our children, that need to feel special. Maybe the children are doing it for the parents, that need to feel special. So oftentimes in many different relationships, there's that need to feel special. Now in recovery, first off I want to bring up A Course in Miracles. I remember a long time ago, I am not a thorough reader of The Course in Miracles because that stuff is deep, so I have not gotten so far in it. But I remembered when I was having struggles with the need to feel special, that I remembered that the need to feel special, our ego fears that we are not special. That's from the ego. So when I've had arguments and disagreements about my special feelings, I know, and I've acknowledged this is coming from my ego. I mean, I'm not, new to this. But at the same time, our soul knows that we are special. So this is where we're in conflict. This is why we are in conflict, because we aren't in harmony. When we can understand that, we are not special, but we are special. We are, special to some people, but not to others. But, in talking to many people through this couple of weeks, we had Mercury retrograde 3 weeks ago, and I know that I struggled with many things with that. And then we had the full moon energies that affected many of us. And if you're not into that, just please bear with me. But if you've been feeling, off kilter and things like that, some of us are acknowledging that it's the super moon. So with that being said, there's stuff been come up for our healing. I just did a Temescal last week, and it's a sweat lodge, and so there's stuff that comes up in the heat of the moment, and what we worked on inner child work, and things like this. And there, with inner child work, with many of us, there's abandonment issues, insecurity, neglect. And what I mean by that is maybe you weren't abandoned and neglected in the way of your physical needs, but maybe your emotional needs. And so this is what we're talking about. The feeling special is an emotional need. So in recovery, when we get twisted and get a resentment for something, they suggest to us doing a 4th step. If you're not, easy for somebody else. If you're not in recovery, what the 4th step is we make a searching, fearless, and moral inventory. So in making that list, we find where people had harmed us and what the fear was behind that harm, and then how it impacted us. Where did it affect us? So, where did it give us those insecurities and all of these things? What were we feeling when we had these issues with these people? So, recently I did one about feeling special. And like I said, it can come up in many different ways. It could even come up in sponsors. It can come up in clients and things like this, that need to feel special, that acknowledgement, And maybe somebody tells you they have a resentment, that they're growing to get resentful of you. this is something. So this has happened, in the circle. And so when someone says, I'm getting kind of resentful at you, then what might happen is you might think you're resentful at them for being resentful at you because you thought you were doing something special. So I want to acknowledge this is when we're trying to feel special and be special and all of this, and maybe we're not even acknowledging that we're trying to do that. But when shit hits the fan, it's like, well, I wasn't special after all. When you get fired from that job, well, I wasn't special after all. When that relationship stops, it's like, well, I wasn't special after all. When your kids won't talk to you anymore, well, I wasn't special after all. When your parents don't talk to you anymore, well, I wasn't. It's that specialness, right? So the thing is sometimes we have to acknowledge feeling unspecial. So that's how, because what we have done is oftentimes we get in these relationships or these jobs or what have you, and it's to heal us from feeling unspecial, to having those other feelings of abandonment, insecurity, neglect, and all those other things, because until we heal from that, we keep feeling that. So the feeling of unspecial, when we look at it, is sometimes when we feel unspecial, we're trying harder to be special, and it may not be a conscious decision, is maybe when somebody does something and we don't feel special and we're like, okay, well, and then they come back and they're like, so, when we're feeling unbalanced, like I was talking about before, when the ego is, trying to prove that we're special, but our soul knows we're already special. So it's like, well, what do I do when I'm feeling unspecial? Do I do a little more, or do I do a little less, or do I just keep doing what I'm doing, or what? So what I've learned in doing my recent 4th step is that it's up to me to make me feel special. It's up to you to make you feel special. But we can still make other people feel special. It's being able to, when we're feeling in conflict and harmony and weighing that between the ego and the soul, it's being able to step back and take a look. And am I giving too much, or am I giving too little, or what? Because we're always gauging ourselves, whether we know it or not, or either we're just... It's often unconsciously, but when we're feeling that off balance, and we know when we're feeling disharmony and out of balance and unspecial, what is our action? Are we taking a look inside ourselves? Are we acknowledging I am special? Regardless if somebody else recognizes it or not, I don't have to get a resentment because somebody's feeling resentful for me for maybe trying to prove that I am special. What if that's happening? Because you're going to have coworkers. If you're trying to be a top performer, you're going to have coworkers who are going to try to make you feel unspecial. So it's just remembering your own specialness. So let me see if there's anything else that I have to add to this right away as I look at my own inventory. It affected my trust, my self-esteem, my self-worth, and my emotional security is what this did. And so we feel like we're losing something when it affects those things, right? So I think that the bottom line is that we're afraid of not being special, loved, and sacred. And the thing is that, when you're working steps, and not everybody is, and not everybody needs to probably, but the thing is, maybe they do, oftentimes in recovery, wouldn't it be nice if people took their own fearless, moral searching inventory, fearless and thorough searching moral inventory. I'm getting things backwards now because it's almost time for this to be over. Because that is where we're going to feel the specialness, is when we do take that inventory of ourselves and we can see, because we're all fallible human beings. We all make mistakes, and being able to admit our mistakes, and this is the first step really into being able to look and admit our mistakes, because oftentimes in this step when we're working with somebody, now it starts off as sponsorship. Now, like I said, not everybody works the steps, so I sometimes am working with people on this. We look at what is my part, or what could I have done differently, because you're not going to heal until you do something differently, because Einstein said insanity is doing the same thing, expecting different results, because we want people to change. But the change has to come from within. The feeling special has to come from within. That ego, I believe, is the so-called original sin, is the ego, is when we decided that we were separate from other people, that we had to cover things up and hide things about ourselves, and that's often done in part of the ego. Sometimes we hide it so good we don't even know our own specialness, so it's being able to be real and heal. I think that's what the attraction to a lot of people have is that, you know, this realness of being able to accept our own faults. I know that a lot of my circle is like, they love that I'm able to be real, that I'm able to be vulnerable, and that I'm able to be honest. And that started with these first inventories. And trust, I've done a lot of these inventories in my day and time. That's how I've become intuitive and dug that stuff off of my soul so that I could grow. Because all this stuff from the ego set on my soul, things that I did to cover up that I wasn't special, you know, that I tried to do to make myself special, outside things that I try to gather to make myself special. You know, and sometimes it's those outside things as far as our jobs, our families, and our any kind of relationship, love relationships. So I hope that this video has been helpful and insightful to you, and I hope that you'll be able to gauge your specialness and unspecialness. Remember, our ego fears that we are not special, and our soul knows that we are. So if you're in disharmony, try to just get back in yourself and remember that we are fallible. We're going to make mistakes. That's part of the ego's job, is to help us see those mistakes. And then that our soul knows that we are also perfect. You know, when I'm looking at the moon, speaking of the moon earlier, and I had a struggle with this full moon energy, and as we know, the retrograde 3 weeks ago, and it's all come full circle with the full moon. And so now that I went out the other morning at 4:30, many of us have felt this pull. And it's been known that it's going to affect women. So I went out at 4:30 in the morning. I'm seeing that the moon is disappearing, and that excites me because I see that these wrong thoughts that I had, are disappearing too. Because I've asked, higher source, higher power, whether it be the moon, the sun, whoever you perceive that to be, because we're all connected infinitely. So I want to thank you once again for watching these videos, for liking and subscribing and sharing if you think they're going to help somebody else. And I just wish you much peace and love this week, and I look forward to connecting with you next week. Remember, you can always reach out to me at staceyreineck@gmail.com. If you want to support this channel monetarily, you can do that there with PayPal there too. Or you can always reach out to me at staceyreineck4life@gmail.com. Either one of those, you can email me with comments or suggestions or ask for topics, okay? All right. Thank you so much. Bye.